Danvers State Hospital in Massachusetts. Now that's a place with stories. Stories that linger in the air, whispering through the halls. This Gothic behemoth, with its imposing towers and sprawling wings, was once home to thousands of patients. It was a place of both hope and despair. Today it stands as a chilling reminder of a darker time in mental health treatment. The walls, now crumbling, hold secrets of the past. Let me tell you about Emily, a nurse whose story is etched into the very fabric of this place. Emily was a young nurse at Danvers back in the 1950s. She was dedicated, compassionate and unflinching in the face of adversity. Now, Emily wasn't one to scare easily. She had a steely resolve that saw her through the toughest of nights. She'd seen it all: screaming patients, late nights, more bodily fluids than you could shake a bedpan at. Her experience was vast and varied, but there was one night shift at Danvers that changed everything, a night that would haunt her forever. It was a stormy night, the kind that rattles the windows and makes you check the locks twice. The wind howled like a lost soul. Emily was working the graveyard shift in Ward C, the most notorious ward in the hospital, a place known for its troubled souls. The air was thick with the scent of disinfectant and something else, something metallic and vaguely sweet. It was unsettling. As Emily made her rounds, she noticed something strange, an unusual stillness that made her skin crawl. The patients, usually restless and prone to outbursts, were eerily silent. Their silence was deafening. It was as if they were all holding their breath, listening for something in the darkness, something unseen yet deeply felt. The oppressive silence was shattered by a low, mournful moan emanating from the depths of the hallway, reverberating through the forsaken corridors. Emily's heart thundered in her chest as she crept towards the haunting sound, each step heavier and more reluctant than the last. The moan morphed into a choked whisper, then escalated into a blood-curdling scream that sent icy shivers down her spine. She burst into the room to find a patient, a young man named Samuel, thrashing violently in his bed, his face twisted in sheer terror. "He's here! He's here!" Samuel shrieked, his eyes wide with unbridled fear, darting around the room as if seeking an escape from an unseen horror. "The Shadow Man!" Emily tried to soothe him, but Samuel was beyond consolation, his palpable fear infecting the air. He pointed a trembling finger at the corner of the room, his voice barely a whisper, his hand shaking uncontrollably. "He's standing right there," he whimpered, his eyes locked onto the dark corner. "He's coming for me." Emily's gaze followed Samuel's trembling finger, her blood turning to ice as she saw the figure. There, lurking in the shadows, she saw it. A tall, shadowy figure with piercing red eyes that seemed to burn into her very soul. The figure seemed to shimmer and distort, like heat rising from asphalt, its form constantly shifting and warping. Before Emily could react, the figure vanished, leaving behind a chilling silence that seemed to devour the room. Samuel, his eyes still wide with fear, slumped back onto his pillow, his chest no longer rising or falling, the life drained from his body. The aftermath of that night would haunt Emily for the rest of her life, the memories of which she would only dare to whisper to a select few.